I'll be there for you. You know, kind of like with friends. It rings in your head. And we are back. So number one, I want to apologize. We have been gone for the better part of a month, but it was a nice, relaxing vacation, a nice, good recharge so that we can hit the ground running, bringing more fire content to the channel, helping you see that you don't need a job, you need an income. So if you want help building that income, be sure to subscribe below. We were out of the country, but we are back with no Rona situation, if you know what I'm talking about there. And actually, that is one of the perks of working from home. You don't have to worry about coming in contact with a whole bunch of random people where you don't know where they've been. So since we've been gone, one of the cool things that we've been able to do is a couple of exclusive interviews that I'll be able to share on the channel. They're going to be included right after this video, so be sure to go check it out. I have a couple of really interesting tidbits about how I got started with my online business that I really haven't discussed anywhere else. So be sure to go check out the video, and I'll catch you on the other side.
Welcome to this super special interview with Myles. He's a YouTube expert and he is making 6 figures on YouTube and helping tons of people to get started and make money on YouTube. So today you are going to learn some secrets how you can also get started and succeed on YouTube. So welcome, Chris. Great to have you here.
Great to be here, Roope.
First, I would like to ask you, how did you get started on YouTube? Where are you currently with the YouTube journey? Because you are fast, like making progress and succeeding more and more. So would you like to share a little bit about your own story?
Well, I got really started when I found out that my wife and I were pregnant. We were having our first kid, and wasn't necessarily making enough money, you know, my regular job at the time to really make enough to take care of everything. And she really wanted to quit her job at the time. My wife did, because she wanted to be able to stay home and take care of our son full time. His name's Benji. Our son Benji full time. And he when she decided to quit the job, that I needed to find a way to replace her income like really fast. And I started with blogging, and then after a while I kind of got into YouTube as well. And then after a while YouTube just kind of started taking off. I had a couple of videos that really kind of went nuts, and because of that the growth really kind of skyrocketed from there.
I want to ask later a little bit about those huge success videos with 750,000 views. Yeah. But before that, I want to ask, like, how do you actually make money with YouTube? Because a lot of people, they don't actually know like how to make money on YouTube. They watch videos, but how do you make money? Like, what are the ways?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ways in which you can make money on YouTube. The more popular way that most people really try to go after was called the YouTube Partner Program, or just YouTube ad revenue. And even though that is a pretty good source of income, you do need to have some, you know, some requirements to get there, like the 1,000 hours and the 4,000 or 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours of watch time. But you know, there are other ways in which you can do it, including like affiliate marketing, which is really, really huge. Course sales, which is something I've gotten into over the last year or so. That's done pretty well for me as well. And then you can do other things with sponsorships. Once you get people who are actually looking at your channel, being nice and focused, that those types of companies are going to reach out to you because you're talking to an audience that they want to market to as well. So you can actually make money that way as well. But there's just a number of ways that you can do it. One thing I found is just to focus on one and just go for it. And then after a while, it's been established, and go after another, and go after another, and those income streams just kind of start to build. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, there were already, you mentioned 4 different ways at least.
There's many different ways.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so affiliate marketing, I use it a lot with my YouTube videos, so I leave a link in the description, and then when people click it and they go buy something, then I earn a commission.
Yeah, it's very simple, right? Yeah. It doesn't take much work, but it does work remarkably well.
Yeah, that's true. So you have this YouTube course where you have like more than 100 lessons and like 10 hours of high quality content where you teach people basically how to go from zero to making a full-time income on YouTube. So could you compress that information in like 1 or 2 or 3 advice? What would be like the best advice for beginners to get started with YouTube?
Yeah, there's a lot to it. There is a lot to creating a YouTube channel. It's kind of hard to take everything and just put it into one little thing. But the one thing that I definitely recommend that everyone needs to do is just to get started. You need to create the content. Sometimes people are waiting until they get the greatest camera, or they're waiting until they get the perfect backdrop for the YouTube video, whatever. It doesn't matter. When you're first getting started, a lot of your videos, they probably won't look that great, you know, but it's going to get you into the habit of creating the videos.
Yeah.
And even if you were to increase your quality or improve your delivery or whatever it is, at least 1% every video. Look back at your old video, see what you did wrong, and keep going with the content. After you've created 50, 100 videos, all of a sudden you've created something that's 100% better than what you used to do. You know, so the key is don't let anything stop you. Just get started.
Yeah, that's very good advice, because I started my YouTube channel. I think I published first videos like 2017. So around 3 years ago, and by the time I talked with a couple of my friends that, hey, I want to start on YouTube, and they were like, hey, it would be interesting for them also to start on YouTube. They were also thinking about it. Yeah. But now I have started like 3 years ago. Now I have like hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel. It's generating nice income, and they are still thinking like,
you're maybe thinking about it.
Yeah, they're still thinking.
Yeah, it's one of the sad things, because a lot of people have a hard time just getting started with something. They have nice ideas. They know what they want out of it. They know the kind of money they want to make. They know the kind of influence and impact that they want to make on their potential audience, but then they never get started, you know? One of my favorite sayings is done is better than perfect. So you need to, it's much better to just have it done and out there in the wild on YouTube, just so that it can start getting some type of data. Then you turn around, study your analytics, see what you did wrong, see what you could work on, and then just make those improvements from there. Yeah,
that's true. And that's important, like learn from the mistakes, because, and what you mentioned, that publish 50, 100 videos. Because I remember when I first got started with YouTube, I published maybe 4 or 5 videos. Then I was like, no, I didn't get any results, I will quit YouTube. And I started doing something else. Then later on I came back with the mindset that, okay, now I will publish at least 100 videos or something like that staying consistent with it. Because many people, they get started, they maybe publish a couple of videos, it doesn't work, and then they quit. But the idea, I think, it's like, keep on going. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that can really stunt a person's growth, I guess you can look at it. I was actually very similar to that. I started on YouTube, posted 5 or 6 videos, and then just kind of let it ride for a while. I'm like, oh, this isn't working. And I had a couple of other failed YouTube channels that didn't necessarily work out. But then I kind of came back to it after a while and just started to double down on it. It was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep working on this until it works. I see. You know, so I kind of took the immediate results that I was looking for. I just kind of pushed that aside and just say, you know what, I'm just going to create until something happens. And something did happen, and it ended up working out pretty well. Yeah, that's very inspiring. By the way, I want to mention at this point that if you want to get started and learn more about YouTube marketing and how to make money on YouTube, I will leave the link in the description for Chris' course. It's a wonderful course, so you can check it out there. Also, Chris' channel will be there in the description. But now, there's another question that I want to ask you, that what are the most common beginner mistakes when beginners get started on YouTube and they start producing videos, and what are like most common mistakes and how to avoid them? Because maybe I believe you have some information and some knowledge that can really shorten the time frame that people start getting results, because you have worked hours and hours and hours and probably made some mistakes also along the way. So the people who are watching this, they wouldn't need to do those mistakes. They can learn from you and they can get faster results. So what would you say, like, what are the most common mistakes and how to avoid them? I would say planning your videos. I see a lot of times, especially with new students, or not even if they're not really taking any type of specific course, they'll kind of just hit record on the camera and just start riffing, you know, about whatever it is that they're thinking about at the time. You need to be sure that you can sit down and kind of plan out your videos. You know, you don't have to necessarily write it out word for word, but at least have a rough outline of what it is you want to talk about. Have some bullet points. And even if you have to look down every once in a while, you can edit that kind of stuff out later if you want to. So have a strict focus with the videos that you're creating. Have a purpose for those videos. I would niche down as well, you know, and when I say niche down, I mean, or niche down, however you want to say it. It depends. So whatever it is that you're talking about, talk about that one specific subject, and don't just jump from one subject to the next constantly, because people are going to want to find your channel and
look to you for answers, and then they're going to want to continue to look for you for answers in that particular subject. So I would definitely say be very specific in what you're saying and be very deliberate in what you're saying. So sit down, plan it out a little bit. Doesn't have to be word for word, but just make sure that what you're creating is actually helpful to somebody on the other side of the camera.
I see. Yeah. I noticed that at the beginning I made a little maybe a mistake with that because I was mixing like videos about making money online and also about language learning on my same channel. People who come to my channel, they see video about how to make money online, then there is one video about learning languages, so they're like, what? Why is this? So
there's a difference there. In a situation like that, I'd recommend just doing 2 channels at that point, because I like getting into this. Like, when you're watching like maybe the Food Network or you're watching maybe Disney or something like that, you expect a specific type of content. I don't go to the Food Network and expect to talk politics. That would make me want to change the channel or something, So it's you see these big channels, even on regular TV, on Netflix or whatever, they're actually speaking about one particular type of subject. And they just hit different little parts of it constantly, but it all ties down to their overall niche.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm thinking about like I listen to Tony Robbins or Dean Graziosi regularly, and when I look at their channels, I expect that it will be something about mindset or motivation or business and this kind of things. And let's say Tony Robbins is not going to talk about how to play piano or how to learn languages.
You want to stay on top of mind, when people think about a particular thing. So if you are into, like you were saying a second ago, motivation. So anytime I might be feeling down or anytime I might be feeling, I need a little pick-me-up, I know where I'm going. You know what I mean? So, and it's because they've are very specific in the topic in which they speak of on their channels. So it's very important to really just talk about one specific thing.
I see. Yeah, I think this relates to branding, like showing something specific, like it's like branding. Would you have some other tips on how to brand your channel and how to show up for your audience?
Yeah, in terms of branding, you want to be sure that you have some consistencies. You want to have a message, overall message for your channel that means something. So as soon as someone lands on your channel, they know you have a core set of values, I guess, right? And what that ends up doing is helping people get on your side of the argument. And then sometimes it can help people get on the opposite side of the argument. But what's funny is that people will still watch you, It's hard to be middle of the road, because you don't want to make anyone upset or anything like that. You really have to take a stance, be definitive in what it is that you're trying to say. You're going to have people that love what you say. You're going to have people that hate what you say. But you know what? Even the people that hate what you say are still watching to hear what you're saying. Right? So you want to have one specific, value proposition, I guess is what you can call it, on what your channel is, so that when I land on your channel, I know what you are producing, I know what you're talking about, I think I will enjoy it, so I'm going to subscribe now because of it, that kind of thing. Yeah,
and something you also, yesterday when we talked there in the street, you mentioned that it's good to have some, let's say, tagline, some short sentence, how you can, so what is like a mission of your channel?
Well, mine has actually changed over time. It just really depends on what I was feeling like at the time. It's basically under the same niche or the same topic in which I'm discussing, but I'm kind of taking a different angle with it. So early on, I used to always say, you don't want to make a little bit of money, but a lot of money, right? And that was really helpful because people would come to me afterwards and say, hey, I really dig your channel. I really like how you say you want to make not just a little bit of money, but a lot of money. So it still was taking off. People were really enjoying it. But then after a while, I kind of noticed that it kind of made people too money centric, and a lot of times in this business, you can't do it just for the money, because if you do it just for the money, you probably won't last, especially early on, because you're probably not going to be making a ton of money early on. So what I've kind of done is change it up a little bit. So now I say, you don't need a job, you need an income. And if you want help building that income, subscribe to the channel. So it's that one right there kind of helps because I believe it kind of creates something in your mind, and you're like, oh wait, you saying I don't need a job to make money? Wait, I can make an income by doing something else, and you're going to help me with that? Hey, let me subscribe to this. So right now that's what my current value proposition is for my channel.
I see. I'm sure it wakes up some people, because many people think that if they want to earn money, they need a job. But then you are teaching, you can make money online and these kind of things. So it wakes people up and they, what is this all about? And they start learning and searching about.
Yeah, it's good to have something catchy. It's good to have something that, as people watch it, you know, kind of like the old TV shows where you kind of get their song stuck in your head from the beginning of the episode or whatever, and you start singing along with it. I'll be there for you. You know, kind of like with Friends. It rings in your head, and every time you hear that song, you immediately think about the TV show. You know, you're doing the exact same thing with your channel. You want to create something that's a little consistent at the beginning of each one of your videos, and by doing that, you tend to people will start saying it with you, you know, while they're watching your content, and they're thinking about you when they're not watching your content, kind of a deal. And that's really where you kind of make your way in, you know, to people's psyches for the most part. And then they start just watching your content all the time because they look forward to what it is you have to say. You want to have a nice little controlled balance for your page or for your videos.
I see, yeah. So then I wanted to ask you about your viral videos, because you have one video on your channel that has like more than 750,000 views, another video with more than 100,000 views. So what tips would you give for us, like how to create viral videos with hundreds of thousands of views based on your experiences?
I would definitely say don't go after those kind of videos. Don't post a video hoping that it's going to get 1 million views, because especially early on, it's probably not. You know, it's probably not going to happen. What you want to do is service your audience as much as possible. And again, it's going back to being specific in your topic on your channel. If you're specific in it, then people who subscribe to you are going to keep watching your videos because you're talking about a similar subject all the time. So the more people watch your videos as you kind of cater to your audience, then that's going to give YouTube more information about what your videos are about, what your channel is about, and start finding people who are like the ones who are watching your channel. So create content for your audience, and then eventually the viral gods will shine upon you at some point, and you're going to have some videos just kind of go nuts. And a lot of times those videos can structure your entire channel. I know channels that have been creating videos for a few months and not getting much traffic, and then they get like 1 or 2 videos that just really take off, and it literally elevates the rest of the channel, because people find that's like their way in. They find that video, and then they just start looking around and saying, well, what other content does this person have? And then they start seeing similar content about the subject that brought them in the first place, and then people start binge watching your channel, and that's how really things start to blow up.
I see. So you don't really look for viral topics, you just want to serve the audience, like help them to achieve what you want them to help, and not really seeking so much for the viral video.
Yes. Now, I still, it is very important to do SEO or search engine optimization for your videos, but as long as you can make it in line to what your audience likes to watch, then just use that, you know. Now, so early on in a channel, you might not know what your audience, you might be asking, well, how do I know what to make for my audience if I haven't created my first YouTube video yet? Well, what you do is early on is you kind of hit a number of topics within your space, within your topic, and then turn around 5 or 10 videos, turn around, look at the analytics, see what did well, see what didn't do well. The ones that did do well, try to recreate or dive deeper into that specific topic within your niche.
We are talking about this audience quite a lot. So I remember when I was getting started, I didn't have any audience. Now I have some audience, you have a bigger audience, and some people might be thinking also like, okay, I don't have an audience, what should I do? And I was thinking when I got started, like people are talking about this audience. So what advice would you give? Like you also mentioned that just create videos about that, but what would you say for people who really don't have like any audience at the moment? Like how to get an audience, like build something that people will follow?
Well, again, it's important to just start creating the content. So I would figure out whatever your topic is. So if your topic was coffee, or maybe you just want to create a YouTube channel on coffee, then I would sit down and maybe do the best mugs, maybe the best type of coffee, and then the best type of creamer, or the best type of French press. Make a video about all of those type of things, and all of a sudden, if you realize that the video that you did on mugs tends to do a little better than the other ones that you did, then start creating more content on mugs, right? And just keep going and keep going on that until you notice that the audience changes or changes what they're actually watching about you. So if you're continuing to do that and you're doubling down on what you see is working, then your channel is going to end up creating an audience for itself.
Yeah.
Right, and then you just keep speaking to that same audience, and that's really the goal to it. Is just throw out there some information, throw out some videos, look at the analytics, and make a decision from there.
Yeah. I see that's also very exciting because eventually some audience will come. Like if you just keep on creating something helpful, audience will come. Like I see so many people getting started, and if they just keep on going, sooner or later people will start watching their videos, and that's really what happens. And what I find also motivating with YouTube is that when we publish something on blog, nobody gets like notification unless we send them. But on YouTube sends like notification. It promotes our videos a little bit, so it's somehow a little bit easier to build this kind of audience on YouTube, in my opinion.
Well, it's really to YouTube's benefit for the creators to create the content, right? Because the more people who are on YouTube and the more people who are clicking advertisements on YouTube, the more money that YouTube ends up making. So when us, the creators, are creating content that is bringing people to YouTube, it is to YouTube's better interest to go out there and, hey, this video is bringing in people from here. This video is bringing in people from here. Let me go ahead and serve it to a person who's similar to your audience. All of a sudden, that's how a video can really start to blow up.
That's true. Yeah. What's your YouTube videos on your YouTube channel? They are often very high quality, and I noticed that you have these skills on editing, and you probably have good camera. So, what tips would you give for beginners who like don't have any experience on making videos, so don't know how to get started with creating videos? So what tips would you give for creating videos and editing videos? How to create high quality videos like yours, for example?
Yeah, well, it's funny. I try to do my best to just create videos that people want to watch, kind of a deal. So as long as you're going towards your audience. But in terms of the video quality, I would definitely look at just creating the content. So even if you don't have a top-notch camera or anything, just use your phone. Most people's phones are good enough to create good high-quality YouTube videos. And I would definitely use some type of editing software to get rid of the ums and the ahs and the long breaks and everything, because the last thing you want to do is waste people's time. You don't want to waste people's time. You want to get to the point, give them their tips, and then have a call to action or something at the end of the video as to where you want them to go. So as long as you can learn those types of things, it'll really be very simple to really get your videos up and out there. I'd recommend, you don't have to necessarily get these paid options for your video editing software. If you have an iPhone, just download iMovie, and just get really good with it. If you don't have a laptop yet, that's one of the things you can do. If you have a PC, then I would definitely go after like maybe DaVinci Resolve or something like that. That's going to be... What is DaVinci Resolve.
DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah, it's very cheap. It might be $40 that you can download, and you can use it to edit your videos on a PC. If you're on a Mac, I would say use iMovie. Those are free options that you can use with your computer, create and edit those videos.
So let's say somebody doesn't have equipment, recording with a phone is okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The only thing I would recommend is with your phone, don't record like this, record like this. All right? That's the one thing, because I can't stand vertical video, and I know a lot of people can't either. It's good for certain places, like maybe some short content that you might make on Instagram or maybe even on TikTok. Those are nice up and down videos, but those types of that style of video has its place. On YouTube is not the place for it. Those little black bars are just annoying. So definitely turn the camera, or turn your camera, or turn your phone sideways, and have a nice full image of what it is you're trying to create.
I remember making that mistake sometimes when I was recording like a video blog like this, and then there are these black bars and them.
And as you can see, it takes just a second to go like that. It takes just a second to turn it to the side. So I would definitely go for that.
Yeah. All right. So would you like to share something else, some call to actions for our audience, and something else in the end?
Oh yeah, so one of my favorite sayings that you should I have a lot of sayings, but one of my favorite ones is do something now that your future self will thank you for. All right, it's really something that you want to build up in the future for yourself. And if you just sit there thinking, I'm going to start tomorrow, don't worry about tomorrow. Start now so that your future self can look back and be like, you know what? I'm glad I got started. So, I mean, other than that, just continue creating, start creating if you haven't already. Check out my YouTube channel, benjisdad.com. Like Roope said, there's going to be a link down in the description. And check out the YouTube course as well. I've poured my heart and soul into that thing. And there is a free webinar that you can check out just by visiting the link down in the description.
Yeah, that's awesome. We will leave all the links in the description, so check them out. And thank you very much. So awesome tips. Wonderful.
Oh, yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Have a wonderful day and take action.